All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we're going to dive headfirst into this whole mystery of why car insurance for young drivers is so crazy expensive. I mean, you finally get that freedom of the open road, and bam, you're hit with a premium that practically drains your bank account. But by the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand the why behind those sky-high costs, you'll also have some insider tips to potentially lower them. We're going to be dissecting this really insightful piece. It's called Why is Car Insurance for Young Drivers So Expensive? Now, I'm no insurance expert, so joining us is someone who can shed some serious light on this whole topic.
Well, let's just say I've spent a good amount of time deciphering the world of insurance, ready to demystify it.
Absolutely. Let's start with the basics. Insurance is all about risk, right? And I guess statistically speaking, we young drivers are talking red flags.
Well, not exactly walking, talking red flags.
Yeah.
But there's definitely truth to the idea that younger drivers statistically pose a higher risk to insurance companies. You know, drivers under 25 are almost twice as likely to be involved in serious accidents, especially in that first year of driving solo.
Okay, I see where they're coming from. We're still kind of getting used to handling different driving situations, fine-tuning those reactions. It's like, remember when we first learned to ride bikes? You know, a few wobbles, maybe a scraped knee or two before we were cruising like pros.
Exactly. It takes time and practice to build those, crucial driving instincts. But here's the thing. It's not just about being a new driver. This article highlights how the choices we young drivers make play a huge role in those insurance premiums.
Wait, really? Like what? You mean blasting my favorite tunes isn't helping my case?
Well, while good music choices never hurt anyone, think more along the lines of the cars we drive. Let's be honest, a lot of us are on a tight budget, right? So we go for those older, cheaper cars. But guess what? Those often lack the advanced safety features that newer models have.
So like those fancy lane departure warnings. An automatic emergency braking system.
Precisely. Those features are like gold to insurance companies. They can significantly reduce the severity of accidents, which translates into lower claim costs for them. So if your car doesn't have them, you're considered a higher risk.
Okay, I'm starting to see how everything connects. But let's be honest, some of us young drivers aren't rocking the old clunkers. We've got our eyes on those sporty, high-performance cars. That doesn't exactly scream safe driver to an insurance company, does it?
That's an interesting point. You hit the nail on the head. Insurers see those types of cars as inherently riskier, primarily due to their potential for speed. They're statistically more likely to be involved in accidents. So that gets factored into the premium. So yeah, that dream car could come with a hefty insurance price tag.
All right, so no speeding, got it. But this article mentions another factor I never would guessed. Our parents' driving history. What, are you telling me my parents' fender benders from years ago could come back to haunt Amy?
It might sound crazy, but yeah, family history plays a role. If your parents have a history of accidents or claims, insurers might assume a pattern. It's all about predicting risk, remember?
Wow. I had no idea. But wait, let's say my parents have squeaky clean driving records. Does that mean I'm in the clear?
Actually, that can work in your favor, especially if you're added to their policy as an occasional driver. Think of it as getting a little good driver boost from your folks.
Okay, that's a relief. So we've got inexperience, our choice of cars, and even our parents' driving history impacting those premiums. What else is there?
Well, believe it or not, location is another big one. Think about where you live. It's like a postcode lottery when it comes to car insurance. If you're in a bustling city or an area known for higher crime rates, brace yourself for potentially higher premiums.
You're kidding me. So even if I'm a super careful driver, my zip code could still sabotage my rates.
Unfortunately, yes. Insurers analyze the likelihood of accidents, theft, vandalism, all those factors specific to your location. So yeah, that dream apartment in the heart of the city might come with some unexpected insurance cost.
So even choosing where I live is a factor. This is mind-blowing. I feel like there are hidden costs lurking everywhere. Is there anything about ME specifically that determines these premiums?
There is. And it's something you have some control over. It boils down to how much you actually drive. Think about it. Less time on the road logically equals a lower chance of accidents.
Makes sense. So those weekend road trips I've been planning might not be doing me any favors. Is there any way for insurers to actually know how much I'm driving, though?
That's where the world of black boxes and telematics comes in. These devices track your driving habits, speed, braking, mileage, you name it. I know it sounds a bit like Big Brother is watching, right?
Yeah, that does sound a little creepy. But you said it's something I can control. How does that benefit me?
Think of it this way. If you can prove you're a safe and responsible driver through your driving data, you can actually get rewarded with lower premiums. It's like having a little guardian angel on your dashboard, vouching for your good driving habits.
All right, I'm liking this guardian angel idea. So less driving, potentially a black box. Anything else I can do to prove I'm a responsible driver?
Well, this article also mentions advanced driving courses. Think of it as going above and beyond your basic driver's ed. Courses like Pass Plus focus on skills like night driving, motorway driving, handling tricky weather conditions.
I see. So it's not just about knowing the rules of the road. It's about mastering those real-world scenarios that can really put your skills to the test.
Exactly. These courses teach you how to be a safer and more confident driver overall. And from an insurance perspective, they demonstrate your commitment to being responsible behind the wheel.
So it's an investment that could pay off in the long run with lower premiums. I wish I had known about this sooner. I'm already feeling a bit more empowered. We've covered a ton of information, inexperience, car choices, family history, location, driving habits, and advanced driving courses. But is there anything I can do right now to get those premiums down without having to wait years for more driving experience?
Absolutely. And this is where we move from understanding the why to exploring the how. There are some practical steps you can take right now to potentially lower your costs. But first, we need to understand one crucial thing.
Ooh, a cliffhanger. I guess we'll have to wait until the next part to find out what this game-changing secret is. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more insights on how to conquer those car insurance premiums. All right, so we're back, ready to unlock those secrets to saving money on car insurance. Before we went to the next part, we were talking about some actionable steps you can take like right now to lower your costs. What's this game changer you mentioned?
Well, it's less of a secret and more of a financial fact that often gets overlooked. It's all about how you pay for your insurance.
You mean like paying in full versus those tempting monthly installments?
Exactly. While those monthly payments might seem easier on the wallet in the short term, they often end up costing you more in the long run.
Really? I'm all ears. Explain how that works.
Okay, so think of it like this. Those monthly payment plans often come with hidden costs, like interest charges and administrative fees. They're like these little sneaky fees that add up over time, making your overall insurance cost higher.
So if I can swing it, paying for my entire premium upfront could actually save me some cash. That's a good tip. I'll have to start budgeting for that.
It might seem like a big chunk of change all at once, but if you can plan for it, it can be a smart move financially. And here's another thought. Consider how much you actually need to drive. If you're mostly using public transportation or biking, you might not need to be racking up a ton of miles.
Right, so if I'm not driving as much, I'm logically less of a risk, which should translate into lower premiums, right?
Exactly. Many insurers offer discounts for lower annual mileage. It's definitely worth asking about.
Okay, so less driving, paying upfront, got it. Are there any other tricks of the trade when it comes to car insurance? I'm starting to feel like a detective uncovering hidden clues.
Keep that detective hat on, because our source emphasizes something crucial. Shopping around for insurance quotes. Don't just settle for the first offer that lands in your inbox. Take some time to compare quotes from different insurers. You might be surprised by the range of prices and coverage options out there.
That's good advice. It's like anything else, you want to find the best deal possible, right?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to negotiate. Remember, insurance companies are businesses, and they want your business. So if you've got a clean driving record, or have taken those advanced driving courses we talked about, use that to your advantage. Don't be shy about asking for a better rate.
Ooh, I like that. It's about being proactive and advocating for yourself.
Exactly. Be informed, be assertive, and you might be able to snag a much better deal on your car insurance.
All right, this is all super empowering, so if I'm understanding this correctly, young drivers might face some initial challenges, but by being savvy and taking these steps, we can actually make a difference in how much we pay. It's not a hopeless situation.
You've got it. It's all about understanding the system and using that knowledge to your advantage. And remember, as you gain experience behind the wheel and build a good driving record, those premiums will naturally start to come down over time.
Okay, that's reassuring. So there is light at the end of the insurance tunnel. This article dives deep into the reasons behind those high premiums, but it also provides these practical tips that I think a lot of young drivers will find really helpful.
I agree. It's a great resource for anyone navigating the sometimes confusing world of car insurance.
Now, while this deep dive has been laser focused on car insurance, something in this source material sparked a thought in my mind. It's this idea that car insurance is just one example of how perceived risk influences costs in our lives.
Well, I like where you're going with this.
It's like this whole concept of risk assessment applies to so many areas of life, not just driving. Think about credit scores. If you're young and haven't had much time to build a credit history, you might be seen as higher risk by lenders, leading to higher interest rates on loans.
That's a perfect example. The same principle applies. Lenders use credit scores to assess the likelihood that you'll repay a loan, and a limited credit history can be interpreted as a lack of responsibility, resulting in higher costs for you.
It's wild how this idea pops up everywhere. It's not even limited to finances. Think about job applications. If you're a recent graduate with little work experience, you might be seen as a riskier hire compared to someone with years of experience.
Absolutely. Employers are essentially assessing the risk of investing in you as an employee. It all boils down to perception and how that perception translates into real-world opportunities.
So this deep dive has become more than just a guide to car insurance. It's about understanding this bigger picture of risk assessment and how it impacts our lives.
It's about recognizing these systems that assess risk and understanding how they influence our choices, opportunities, and yes, even the costs we face.
Which makes it even more important to be aware of these systems, understand how they work, and find ways to demonstrate our trustworthiness and responsibility.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing that really resonated with me from this article. It's something that might just change the way we think about these risk assessments. Stay tuned for the final part. We're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into this whole world of car insurance. But before we do, I want to circle back to that final thought-provoking point I mentioned. Remember how we were talking about how risk assessment kind of plays a role in so many areas of our lives, not just car insurance? Well, this article really got me thinking about the flip side of that coin.
I'm intrigued. What's the flip side?
Okay, so it's this. If we can actually understand those factors that contribute to these risk assessments, we can actually use that knowledge to our advantage. You know, we can proactively take steps to demonstrate our trustworthiness and responsibility, not just to insurance companies, but in like all aspects of life.
I see what you mean. It's like we're not just passively subject to these assessments. We can actually influence them.
Exactly. We can build a reputation for reliability, a track record that shows we're responsible individuals.
So instead of feeling powerless against these systems, we can empower ourselves to navigate them strategically.
Absolutely. Think about it. If we consistently make smart choices, pay our bills on time, build a positive credit history, engage in our communities, all these actions kind of contribute to a perception of trustworthiness.
And that perception can lead to better opportunities, lower costs, and stronger relationships.
It's like a ripple effect. By focusing on building trust and demonstrating responsibility in one area of life, we can actually create a positive impact across the board.
That's a powerful takeaway. It's not just about getting a good deal on car insurance. It's about crafting a life where trustworthiness becomes our calling card.
I love that. So as you navigate the world, remember you have more control than you think. Be mindful of the choices you make, understand the systems at play, and strive to build a reputation that reflects your integrity and responsibility.
Those qualities will serve you well, not just in the short term, but throughout your life.
And on that note, we're signing off. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of car insurance and beyond. Remember, knowledge is power. And now you're armed with the insights to make smart, empowered decisions. Until next time, drive safely and make choices that build trust.